What the open mic is? It's just a gym.
Yeah.
The only gym I go to.
I will back that up. I have not visited a gym in quite some time. My good friend Jim, maybe, but that's about it.
On Grindr?
no, not on Grindr, buddy.
You're like, I visited my good friend Jim.
You're no,
if you
definitely
know what
not
I mean.
on Grindr.
Innuendo.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, I blowed him.
yeah. But I'm not gay.
Yeah.
That's weird. You're each other, and I was like, your dick plays music.
I'm unloading the meat. I'm loading the meat. I'm unloading the meat. I'm loading the meat. I'm unloading the meat. I'm loading the meat. I'm unloading the meat. I don't even know what it means, but it is what it is. What it is. What it is. What it is. I'm unloading the meat. I'm loading the meat. I'm unloading the meat.
Welcome to Unloading Meat. I am your host, Jared Ralphie Allen. No, not that Jared. And no, not that Ralphie. My guest today is a great local comedian you can see in a variety of shows, including this Saturday at the Riff Show, which is already going to be recorded before this, or, be done before this recording is done. But, fuck it. Please welcome the great Kyle Fleming.
Hey.
What's up, Kyle?
Not much, man. Thank you for having me.
Welcome to the show, buddy.
Hey, thank you.
Thank you for coming all the way to Bartlesville.
Oh, yeah. No, awesome. I'm happy to be here.
Yeah, man. I'm glad. I love the hoodies too, because for those that don't know Kyle always has like a lot of awesome hoodies, whether it be the Vans one, or the Vans one, or the Vans one.
That one is a bit worn out. I have that wrote into my set. I wear it so much.
No, welcome, man.
Hey,
it's good to have you, man. How long you been in the scene doing comedy?
I just went in, I guess, just shy of 6 months.
6 months?
Yeah.
Nice, man. You're funny as hell. I just gotta say that.
I appreciate that, man.
We talked a little off camera. Like I remember seeing you for the first time around Sesh, and we've interacted with Cellar, stuff like that. A couple times, or just go. And, just in the scene. But like, man, you're funny as fuck. You lean into, and I know we tend to, razzle you for the shortness or something.
Oh
like that.
yeah, but that's not.
It comes with a scene like I get tons of fat jokes, you know what I
Right?
mean? And dick sucking jokes when they find out I'm bi. Once they unlock and they're like, "Oh, you suck cock," that just unlocked the entire side of the dictionary.
You just gave me another half of my brain.
It's like they're one dick sucking away from being able to say faggot like me. Like until then, they're just gonna allude to it.
I was like, he's a little.
But it's also like I do that, like we talked off camera. I roast the ones I love, I roast the ones that I respect, stuff like that too. So like when I see like a good joke or something like that from you, it's gonna stick in my mind. So when I'm writing my set beforehand, I'm like, man, I'm gonna fucking riff on that shit. That was funny.
I absolutely agree. I love giving people shit that I enjoy.
Yeah, man. For me, like me personally, it's like I want to go out the extra mile. Like also, like I do it for hosts too. I love to do it for everybody that's a host, because I think they appreciate, like, especially like at Stellar, like JB and Lacey, they love when you write a joke for them to like riff on them because they're the host. Like they're waiting for something to pop. And, they're waiting for their name to hear. They give it up to JB and Lacey, stuff like that. But as soon as they hear like a joke for them, they're like, oh shit, that was good. You took the time.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
And so like it matters to the crowd. It matters. It's an easy thing just to get an easy layup. It's again, everything's wrestling to me, so everything's easy crowd pop. It's like when the wrestler's like, man, I love it here in Houston, Texas.
He's like, we're in Charlottesville. Ah, damn it.
My favorite one of those is do you know the band Flight of the Conchords?
Yeah.
Their New York special, like their very first taping on HBO, they have their guitar and he's like, we love it here in America. So broad.
I just remember like that old episode of Simpsons with Spinal Tap, and he's like, "It's great to be here in Springfield." Is it Shelbyville?
That was actually
Is it
good.
whatever?
Fucking Spinal Tap.
Yeah,
that's a great movie.
Oh yeah.
And then another like I love. I'm a big fan about just good writing, just from being not only comic, but like, good drama writing too. Like one of my favorite shows is Better Call Saul.
Oh yeah.
I love that show.
That is a good show.
Michael McKean is also in Spinal Tap. Like he's one of the creators of that.
Oh yeah.
And seeing a guy that's primarily known for comedic roles, doing like mockumentary stuff, doing that is like kind of the same thing with the guy that plays Saul. Bob Odenkirk.
Yeah, totally. With Mr. Show and all that, and then to see him kill it on there.
Yeah, I feel the same way. Like, you see like people like Robin Williams when they would do dramatic roles.
Oh,
or Jim Carrey. It's almost like because we know that they're so funny, you can kind of see more into them. Like you get more of a connection to them. So like when they go dark, it's more dramatic or more like
more
impactful.
unsettling.
Yeah.
Right? You're like, oh, okay, what?
There's a built-in layer to it. Yeah, and I kind of equate that to like when I'm again no ego with anything. I'm still a novice comic. I have no ego about anything I do. But like when I talk to you, like when I'm doing my write-throughs, like before I go up, like the way I look at it is anything that anybody said beforehand is built in rapport with the audience. They've set through it. They've remembered your set. They've gone through all that stuff. So if I notice it on there, if I mark on it, if I just just riff on it just a hair,
just a little bit,
there's something there that I kindle. They're like, oh,
it jogs the memory.
Yeah, and it's built in rapport.
I remember.
And I mean, what we do is keeping attention. Like we have to keep their attention. We have to keep their attention and keep their focus. As moment we lose that, we've lost everything. Like you know as well as I do.
Oh yeah. Once it's gone, man, it's real hard to get back.
Before I go up, I tell myself, smile, have a good time. Like if you're having a good time and happy, it's infectious. Like they're gonna know you're having a good time, you're having a better set. And then take them on a roller coaster ride of emotion. If you're gonna dip, make sure you mean to go dip and have something to punch back up.
Yeah.
Like you have to prepare like that. You have to know how to take them on that ebb and flow. And like I try to keep those two things in mind before I go up and do anything. And that's what I really like. I'm drilling into myself and like as I'm walking up and shit.
Plus, you have jokes like a similar style in like the short, like punchy.
Yeah.
Quick. Keep that attention.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. And if I don't, I try to do the music thing. I don't know if you've like.
Yeah. No, the music thing's funny.
I love my bit with the sad music.
Yeah. No, it's funny. I was showing my wife some stuff the other day, and I was like, "Look at this promo." I was like, "Look at this sad bastard selling this." You're like, is the sad in the shower, and then the
SPCA,
yeah.
Dude, that popped awesome during the special.
Yeah.
So spoiler, this will be out after that, but like March 15th, we're gonna do the next one.
Okay, cool.
At Go. And so like what I'm trying to think of doing is like every time we do one of those stand-up specials, I'm gonna do an intermission and do another one of those skits and premiere it like that.
I think that would be good for it sets
the vibe.
Yeah, I think it would be a good idea, kind of because like a little interlude kind of a.
Because like I said, I take notes on everything, and like I'm really inspired lately by a guy named Adam Ray.
Okay. Oh yeah.
Dr. Phil. Have you seen Dr. Lives?
Yeah.
But like if you watch his Dr. Phil Lives and how he does his specials, like himself, he produces them very well, and he does like we'll be right back. And he does fake commercials, and he does like skits that are like fake commercials, like what's that one? What was the Mentos, the Fresh Maker, and stuff like that, or My Pillow. Yeah. The My Pillow one is fucking hilarious. I don't know if you've ever seen that one.
I don't think I.
Okay.
I don't think
we're pulling it up.
1 hour later.
Well known fact: Jesus loved pillows. You remember that lesson in Sunday school?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, okay, all right.
The classic lesson, like
yeah.
I mean, how did just look through his whole hands? I don't know.
Right before my Sunday school teacher asked for a private lesson, and that's about when I got out of the church.
Yeah, same here.
If you're in Oklahoma, there's at certain point in your life you were in the church.
Yeah, now I get blowjob consensually. Available on Grindr.
This is just an ad for you. It's just an ad for you to be fucking.
Yeah. I mean, I gotta beat the Raid Shadow Legends ads on Grindr already. Yeah, even on fucking Grindr, there's Raid Shadow Legends ads. It's fucking great. It's like in between RuPaul's Drag Race ads. There's fucking Raid Shadow Legends.
Okay.
And then occasionally a female drama from Amazon Prime. Which is the most weird carried thing to watch. Like these are dudes fucking holes. Okay? They're plowing each other. I don't think we need to watch The Marvelous Miss Maisel. Like
listen to this funny lady.
But maybe Invincible. Jack Reacher. Oh, I'm getting a Jack Reach around.
Yeah, I was about to say the old reach around.
So we talked off camera about like this, like how it's a little overwhelming. It's kind of by design. I want this to be overwhelming for guests, so like they kind of talk about this stuff and they're looking at this stuff and not focusing so much on the cameras and the lights.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And it kind of breaks down that barrier to where we can just have a good conversation, have a good chill time. It just immediately eliminates all that shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I'm real comfortable.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, I was like,
that's the goal.
This is cool shit.
Yeah. Again, it's called divorce. So. Lots of free time. And antidepressants.
Yeah, I was like, thank God for antidepressants, right? They keep me going.
Thanks, Walgreens. So how you been, man?
I've been doing actually pretty good. I been lucky enough to get on a few shows recently.
What was your last one?
I just had that graduation show Sunday. And that went really well. And before that, I think I did that hosting spot at Go.
Yeah.
And did a show there.
Nice. And then you hosted the open mic too there.
Yeah.
You did really good too.
I appreciate it.
Yeah, man.
That was a whole different vibe from doing a set versus hosting.
Yeah.
I didn't think it would be any different, but it was very different.
I love that Gene lets I don't want to say the quote unquote, I'm not disparaging, newer people do open mic.
Right.
Host. I love that he does that, gives opportunities to people that are like fresher.
Right.
And,
he does give a lot of good opportunities.
Yeah. Shout out to Gene.
Hey, Gene.
Gene gives a lot of good opportunities out there, and I love that he gives some newcomers like people to do a chance to host for the first time sometimes.
Yeah.
And a lot of people don't notice how hard hosting can be sometimes, and like keeping your mics going, having your timing cues, just like getting all that stuff going. There's a lot going on.
Oh yeah. Trying to make a joke on, in between that makes sense to the bit, and just to keep it going, keep that energy going, but not overshadow your next performer.
Yeah.
It's just like, oh,
yeah,
this is a lot more stressful than I thought, but it was a good learning experience, and I'm looking forward to doing it again sometime.
I equate like what we do, like being a good comedian is like, we're entertainers.
Right.
So I equate it to like, you ever watch the show Ink Master back in the day?
Yeah.
They still have it on. But like, it always cracks me up when you'd see these like, so quote unquote great tattoo artists that are like, yeah, I want to be Ink Master, but I can only do black and gray.
Just stay in this lane right here.
Yeah, like, bitch, you're on Ink Master. You're supposed to at least know how to do at least a little bit of everything.
Right.
And I kind of feel like how a good entertainer, good comedian should be able to do a little bit of crowd work, a little bit of improv, a little bit of hosting, a little bit of this, and this, a little bit of roasting. You should at least dip your toes in all those things to try it.
Well versed, yeah.
Because you never know what the situation's going to happen.
Yeah, I agree. And that is, I will say that a lot of newer comedians I have noticed, or even some veteran comedians, is they've got their stuff that they want to do, and it's set, but if it's not going well, they don't venture into the other territories. And I'm like, if it's just not working, you gotta
call an audible.
Yeah, you gotta do something if you want to win them back. If you don't care, then that's on you. But I care.
Yeah, I care about keeping the audience attention, them having a good time.
Yeah, I don't, because if they're having a bad time, it's the worst to be up there and know everyone's hating you.
Yeah, it's like if you're like trying to drill out your set and not reacting to what's going on in the crowd, it's kind of like when somebody takes a text message the wrong way because they can't tell inflection.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean? You're not reading they can't read the room, so they're just going by what it's typed out. So if you're drilling that in, they're just like, they're not reading it the right way. They're not with you. They're just like, we hate this. Yeah. Like they're just taking it entirely the wrong way, but you're not paying attention to the social cues. You're on the spectrum for that 5 minutes.
Usually I'll start a bit with pretty short, quick, punchy, like, maybe some self-deprecation jokes and stuff, and then roll into my bits. But that always kind of gets the attention real quick.
Yeah.
And but yeah, I've had it not work. So I've had them say, "Yeah, we're not interested, little man."
Yeah. then I've had people like as soon as I start like like I'll roast to cover usually or poke fun or something like that. But like it's crowd work. I'm poking fun of like people like in the audience. It's something like an observational
right.
joke.
You're interacting.
And there's some people who are like, oh fuck this. As soon as they hear one, they're like, I'm not gonna be fodder for this guy. Yeah, and I'm like, oh yeah, fuck you. I'm like, okay, I don't care. Like I try to just. I bend with the crowd, but I also still try to remember to have fun.
Yeah,
with it too.
yeah.
Like if I'm not having fun, what the fuck am I doing up there?
Oh yeah, I absolutely agree. Yeah, the moment it becomes, not,
Soapboxy?
yeah, like I'm just not my thing. I mean, I understand there's times where you're not gonna want to do it more than others, but yeah, if I'm just miserable, what am I doing?
Yeah.
And I have found the times I'm having the most fun on stage is when I have my best sets.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Agreed. Completely agreed. Just loose, having a good time, not giving a care in the world. Again, no ego, but basically the last couple times I've done these like live shows.
Yeah.
I'll have a to-do list, from 8 o'clock that morning. I'm things I have to check off because I have to drive from here to Broken Arrow and set all that stuff
that's
up.
fucking far.
If I forget something an hour and a half, I can't forget a quarter or something like that.
No,
so I have tons
fucked.
of checklists and stuff. The last item on my checklist is write the script for the show. I usually don't get to that item when we're going live. So if you're watching the show and I'm doing that stuff, most of that stuff is improv, or as I'm doing the cameras, I'm writing a joke or something like that as I'm doing that for Zach or something like that. I didn't have time to even set up any intros or anything. I was just like, we're already going.
Yeah.
And just, I ended up doing, I think it works well. Like improv, it's loose. Good. But like, gets me on my toes, but like that's also why I want to do the roast battles more, and I want to keep flip flopping and interchanging the ideas, the concepts of the show, because I want to help scratch that itch and get people those tools, give those people those tools of trying to roast and giving them a new thing. Because it's a lot of that's improv and thinking on your feet and trying to write a lot of jokes that night for 10 people is a lot, and it can really, let you stretch that, that muscle a little bit. That's something different from a regular show. Yeah,
it definitely helps to get out of your comfort zone, I feel like, too.
Yeah, things like you're doing the Saturday the Riff show and stuff.
Like, right. Just kind of, I'm trying to, and I'm happy to get it, on anything at the moment, just trying to get as much stage time as possible.
Yeah,
and
that's what it's about, man.
Still having a really good time, so.
And then like things like Trash's, what's it called?
The crowd control.
Crowd control. I can't think of the name. Shout out Trash with crowd control. Like
somebody. That
was a great show, and like just having more of these, like not disparaging any kind of regular show, but like having these different ones is kind of scratch that different itch,
right?
And give people these different platforms to try to change these or try these different things.
Yeah, no, I think Gene is really, it's really nice that Gene has like kind of put that and allowed a lot of creative, stuff to come through.
Yeah, he's fostering it. Like he's fostering this like area. Like as long as you like aren't fucking over the comedians and are like, true to your word and like are funny and talented, he's wanting to work with you.
Yeah, and I think that's cool. I think.
That's a pretty low bar, but I mean, that's a bar that unfortunately has not been set sometimes. And it's something that just, we need to have a better view. I had Jules Costa on here last week.
Oh, yeah.
And she does the Flyover Comedy Fund and helps fund that stuff. And she's a big proponent of that, like helping comics get paid. Like if you're a headliner, you're a feature, you should get paid more than like just a freebie or something like that. Not that that's, you shouldn't be
right, but I get it.
But at certain points, like you should know your worth. You got to start paying these comics. And like, that's the only way we're going to grow this scene is by helping elevate everybody.
Yeah.
And help elevate, people getting paid and stuff like that. And just, people feeling appreciated.
Right. And then there's a little more incentive to, feel like you're putting the time in,
Yeah.
So I get that,
I mean,
because it's a free show. People, have, they don't, I mean, they're going to do the show, but I think it's also kind of like it's not the end of the world if I miss it type vibe.
Yeah. And it's also like, again, I'm not disparaging any shows or anything. Like a show's a show.
Right.
Even like Gene's doing the free show this Saturday, and it's like he's going to have, maybe helping tape the shows, like tape the reels for people and stuff like that. Like, it's a way to give people the reps and get a crowd and like, I don't know, man. It's the more mics you can do, the more you can have under your belt, the more experience you have. That's at the end of the day what you need to have.
Right.
And I don't know. We're just kind of going on a tangent with that. I'm a little high.
Whatever. Gene actually came to the graduation.
Nice.
Him and Beth came out there and That's his wife's name, right?
Yeah, I think so.
I was like, I believe it's Beth. Yeah, they came out there and saw us, and thought that was cool.
Yeah.
So
yeah, he's a big supporter of Tulsa Colony. I remember when like we had the Ramsgiving.
He came out with the trailer. I was like, damn. I was like, you definitely support. I was like, come all the way out here for that. I was like, that was a cool little vibe.
Yeah, that was.
Yeah.
I have you on camera on the episode for around that time. Because remember I had my little pocket camera out and I was.
Yeah.
I had the little thing around the campfire, and I think you walked up for a little bit. I was like, "Hey, what's up, Kyle?"
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
As we were talking to Michelle about her like vibrator or something like that. She like wandered up and like it's Preston Sly. So as soon as Preston's around, it's like, "Hey, let's talk about sex toys." I'm like, "Okay, thanks, Preston."
I love Preston.
I love him too. He has like several different signatures on my so like you see the iterations of the posters. Like every season, I do a different poster, and I have all my guests sign them. So like each season, you kind of see who's been on there and kind of the iterations and the advancement of the show. He's on there first as the cuck. Because the first episodes that I asked for people to come on, I didn't know anybody in the scene. I'll always be grateful to these two women. I always shout them out, and I'll always be friends with them, Lynn Kay and Missy.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Because I was like, I don't know anybody. I was asking for guests, and those two women were like, "Hey, I'll come on," and they were the first two to ever reach out to me. And two women came out to a stranger's house in Bartlesville to do a podcast on a couch. And they had the balls to come out here to a complete stranger's house and do that, and I'm always going to be grateful for them doing that. But when Missy came out, it's a strange man's house. She brought Preston just to be safe.
Oh, yeah, that makes sense.
And he was the cuck in the corner, just sitting there watching us. And we referred to him as the cuck in the corner because he didn't want to be on camera. And so he signed even as cuck. You see Missy with her lips, and it says, and cuck. And so then he came back with Trash because he's such a friend of the show that Trash needed a ride for his episode. So Preston gave him a ride. And I was like, okay, I'm going to record a solo episode with you. So I'm going to do back to back.
Yeah.
Both those episodes, for some reason, something got unhooked on the soundboard. They're silent films.
Oh, God.
So that was the second time he's not here. And he signed anyway. So then I brought it back for season 2 and he got to do like on that one.
Oh, okay.
So he's been here 3 times and only on camera once.
Dang, you have had a lot of people on here,
dude.
man.
Yeah, man, I'm trying.
Yeah.
Really trying to show the growth of the channel, man. I just had, not that I'm bragging, I don't name drop, but like, I just had Bradley McPherson and Teddy White T.
Oh yeah.
The guy from last Wednesday.
From Looney Bin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I had Bradley scheduled, and he goes, "Hey, I got the guy from Looney Bin. You want him to come out with me?" I was like, "Yeah."
Yeah.
So he came out and they sat on the couch and we had a great episode, and like he has a shitload of TikTok following, and like. He said, like, I'm going to put that episode up this Saturday as a bonus episode.
Okay. Yeah,
and
he has a big following.
Yeah, I was like, he's going to share it and stuff. And he was really cool. And, like, he was super inspirational because, like, he's only been in the business for about a year.
Oh, really?
Yeah. A year.
Like, completely?
Yeah.
Oh, my gosh.
He sat on the couch and he talked to us. And he was like, yeah, but a year I launched TikTok and started doing this comedy thing. The Looney Bin that Wednesday was his first headlining gig.
Oh, wow. I had no idea.
It was his first time headlining. That's why it meant so much. I sold out the Looney Bin. Like, that was my first time somebody gave me a headliner and I made that much money.
That's so cool.
And that was what made a big deal for him. And, like, I was super inspired by that. I was like, dude, a year in and, like, you did your TikTok, you follow. He goes, I have probation. I have all these, like, this past, and I can't do a lot of the things. So I just dumped myself into comedy.
Okay.
And, like, it started to pay off. Like, he was always featured on stuff, and this was his first headlining.
That's super. That's super cool.
Because he's out of Springfield.
Yeah, I had no idea that he had been doing it only that long.
Yeah, and like, I was like, damn, dude, like that's not that long.
Impressive.
Yeah, and it shows how the power of the internet.
Yes.
And like doing the work and just putting those vibes. That's why I'm like, I want to help people get that stuff out. Like the real reason that I really pushed to get some of this like live shows recorded was last summer, around the time that Blue Whale opened up their announcement for like getting applications.
Yeah.
And you saw this like complete wave hit the comedy scene of people going, oh, fuck, I don't have footage.
Oh.
Or, oh, fuck, this footage looks like shit that I have.
Yeah.
Or like, I've never filmed anything good. And like, there was just this panic of like, you just saw this. And I noticed that. And when I want to do these shows, like I want to be able to help because like there's gonna be the ceiling we have of like until we get outside, like we talked off camera, until we get this footage out there and show people outside of Tulsa what we can do online, we're not going to bring in new blood and help the scene grow.
Yeah, there's a ceiling that you cannot, and you can't really break out of without the internet.
It's like when Josh Wolf was here and I did his podcast, I filmed him his podcast for him. Okay. And I got to produce their show for him and his son.
Very cool.
And he was talking here, and he goes, they had just sold out Kane's Ballroom, him and his son. They were doing like a father-son tag team comedy show. And they did the podcast here, and he was like, so you're a comedian? I was like, yeah. And he goes, there's a scene here? And I go, yeah, it's small, but we're trying to start. And he goes, huh, I never would have known. I've never even, like, this is my first time really like doing comedy around Tulsa. Like, I've always hit up Oklahoma City.
Yeah.
He goes, but didn't even think of Tulsa. And that was April of last year. I launched this February.
Okay.
So like 2 or 3 months into my podcast, my first production studio guest and client is Josh Wolf.
And
he's telling me that about the scene. Right. So like that kind of opened my eyes of like, he's seeing it from the big time.
Right.
That there's nothing here. We need to build something.
We need something because nobody's.
And like I'm not disparaging. Like Mason's doing a great job relaunching Looneyman.
Oh man, they're doing
an awesome job.
They're really doing an amazing job.
Bricktown's doing a good job since they've been coming in. They've had a little bit ups and downs, but they're ironing it out. I'm really proud of how they're working out the kinks under this new. It's a brand new fucking club.
Oh yeah.
So you're gonna have those growing pains. Gene is doing a phenomenal thing to go. Fucking Starlight, Hunt Club.
There's so much. Cellar. Yeah, there's so much going on now, and I'm glad that there is such a
Keels. I'm not.
Keels. Yeah, just
shout out Keels.
Up. Yeah, Keels
if I forgot you, I'm sorry. I'm just trying off the top of my head naming all the good open mics that I've been to and stuff that I've like, shout out.
I'm Jared Ralphie Allen, and I approve this message. My fellow Americans, in this crazy election year where people are just drawing lines in the sand, it seems like everywhere you look, people are taking sides. It seems like the only thing we're all going to have in common this November is just a really awkward Thanksgiving. But before we get to all that craziness later this year, wouldn't it be refreshing to hear from two people that were just honest?
Case teaches geography, which is ironic because Case's wife says he has never found the clitoris.
Wouldn't it be nice to witness in person people say such inspirational things about each other, such as,
"Oh, Frederick Emmer is uncircumcised, ladies. That's 2 white hoods he's too proud of."
Fuck it, wouldn't it be great to just see two people that you actually want to root for play the verbal smackdown on each other?
Rachel had her first kid when she was very young. You might have heard of 16 and pregnant. Rachel was 17 and a whore.
If this sounds like a cause you can get behind, then come see me and 8 other comics Friday, April 26th for the next edition of Unloading Meat Presents Roast Battle. Live from Go Theater, this will be a recorded event. Tickets available soon. You don't want to miss this.
Nick, take your hat off. Exactly.
Okay, Lynn Kinderegg.
Is this how you're supposed to do it? Right? Choking off the nose sticks.
You got so much meat in your body. You're nerdy. Your tattoos make you look fugly. You're silly. Ralphie, why you looking at me? How you thinking of unloading that meat?
Paid for by the people who love unloading meat.
Whatever, that's...
I'm a nice, jolly green... I'm a big dude. I'm a nice teddy bear until you piss me off.
That's fair. That's fair. Everybody's got their limit.
You're the koala. Had to.
I just latch onto a leg.
Drink of Foster's.
Yeah.
It's Australian for alcoholism.
Australian for tiny.
A bit of the bubbly.
Yeah. Knifey spoony.
Fuck. So do you watch wrestling at all, or?
Not a whole lot. I mean, I'm aware of it a little bit, but it's more like I watch, like, I get reels of it some, you know, and little things like that, like, but not enough to know what's going on week to week.
I'm a big fan. I think everything equates to wrestling. Everything's a gimmick. Everything, like we talked off camera, like our comedy careers. Like I really try to equate that, and I really try to polish and mold my career and how I'm presenting myself the way a wrestler would try to present their brand and their gimmick and stuff like that. And so far, it's working pretty well.
Yeah, no, I think as long as you've got your thing and you stay true to yourself, and I think that's definitely the way to go.
I mean, well, anything we do as entertainers, we got to be a self-promoter. We got to be a hard worker, and then you also have to have talent.
Yeah, you got to have a lot of shit to do, very little,
and you got to have a lot of fucking patience.
Yeah, a lot of patience. Never been
patient.
Just like Axel, buddy.
Trying to. I'll put an album out before him.
Yeah, no. I'd buy it.
Yeah, better. Maybe I can do like Prince. And
I would pirate it.
Maybe I can do it like Prince and like include it in all my ticket sales and say I'm a #1 album.
There you go.
That's what he did for like one of the, like it was like Musicology or something like that. Kevin Smith talked about that. Like, his album was like #1, but what happened was his last concert tour, he included the album and then like his high ticket prices. So when you bought the ticket, you're buying the album, and then that made it. Like nobody wanted the piece of shit album, but like
that's what New York Times bestsellers do a lot of the times. They just buy all those damn books and then worry about it.
Yep.
Well, that's one way to do it.
It ends up at Ollie's.
Yeah. I was like, and then it ends up in my grandma's bookshelf at a garage sale.
Ross, pay for less.
But dress for less.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you're fancy, if your book's fancy, if it's on New York Times for maybe 3 weeks, you get it on TJ Maxx.
Yeah, that's a little too fancy for I'm more of a Ross.
Oh yeah. Oh, we can't go Beals.
No.
I'm just naming everything in the shopping center.
You've seen my Vans hoodie.
Did you get that at Ross?
No, I don't. I've had that so long I don't know where that came from.
It came from a van.
I grew into it. That's how long I've had it.
It's taken 30 years.
Yeah.
Like Superman's cape, you were born in it.
It was. I got it for my high school graduation, and it's just now starting to fit good.
It's vintage.
Yeah, like I've grown any since high school. I don't have any amazing questions.
Dude, it's all right. I just like to get my candid answers. That's all it is.
I feel you.
All right. Also, I always tell people this. It cracks me up. Like, who fucking quality controlled this? I have this app that controls these lights, right?
Okay.
Notice the categories on top and tell me if you see anything questionable.
Sound like my grandma.
Who did this? Who fucking did this? If you can't see, my app says white light or colored light. What the actual fucking 2024? Has there not been a fucking Google Play update from this to at least let it be like multicolored?
Yeah, they cut some corners on that one.
I thought you were going to say something rigged it. I was like, no.
No.
It's like, Kyle.
Ew.
Kyle. Do you have to go through that, like everybody just doing their best Cartman impression through your whole life?
You know what's funny is it went on for like a little while, and then it kind of fell off. And then once I got in comedy, a few people will, throw one in there. But the funniest one is Z. Because Z doesn't watch South Park, so he just says it in like the most monotone Z voice of "fuck you, Kyle."
Yeah.
And it's Z, so it makes me laugh every time. And I was like, Kyle's the Jewish character, and he goes, "Oh, okay," and I go, "Aren't you Jewish?"
I'm just wondering, like, growing up with your name being Kyle, like, does your mom know the references? Like, how many times has she been called a bitch? Is what I'm trying to get at.
What's hilarious? What's hilarious is when South Park first came out, I was in like 7th grade, maybe, and I kind of started watching it a little bit. But once it got into like the mainstream and Bigger, Longer, and Uncut came out, she thought that bit was hilarious. She,
Yay, I like that. Comedy Mom Plus.
Yeah, she thought it was hilarious, and she would sing along with it occasionally, and and she didn't mind. She didn't mind if I did it. But yeah, but it was
Until you guys get into a fight.
Yeah.
Then she's like, oh, now you're meeting it.
yeah. It's just like, oh, okay. Yeah, as long as but yeah, it got a little annoying for a few years there, but then it's just like anything else. You know?
Yeah.
Honestly, it's with me being so short and like youthful, that usually gets hit first, if anything, unless
See, like my childhood nickname was Ralphie. Like
Right.
growing up, I've always been called Ralphie because I looked like the kid from A Christmas Story.
Yeah.
I had blonde hair combed over with glasses, and I just looked like Ralphie. I had the dimples and everything. I looked like him. And that's funny is like as he grew up, we looked completely different. Like
Yeah.
Peter Billingsley, like we look completely different. As adults, plus I got fat.
that always
Yeah. Once I got out of 8th grade football, it's like, they called me faggot a couple of times, and I was like, I'm done.
yeah, no, this is not the way. Grinder is much more my speed.
Hoagies and grinders. No, that's actually a true story. Like that. Repressed memory. Like, I found that out on the podcast. Like, you ever have like a repressed memory like just pop up?
Oh yeah.
I'm talking with somebody on the podcast, and we're talking about football growing up or something like that, and I had this repressed memory of being 8th grade football, and like I got into a fight with another kid. I'm not gonna say his name because he's like a bartender downtown or something. I just fucking edit that.
What a dick.
Yeah. We got into a fight or something like that, an argument, and the coach was like, oh, you guys want to be like a little gay couple, little faggots? And so he made us we were in full pads, we were in practice gear, football. We had to hold hands and run laps around the football field as the cheerleaders and all the people called us little fags and little queers and ran laps. And I had this memory unlocked, and I was just like,
sure that didn't do anything for her.
yeah, I'm sure that didn't do anything. I didn't write some stuff in my DNA. Like,
yeah, right.
There's some subtitles now on me.
Yeah, no, glad those were formidable years there, coach.
What? Oh, that's what did it. That's what did it. We were talking about how my parents recently moved, and they moved to a Dewey. I don't know if you know where that is.
Yeah.
And they moved to this house, and he's my neighbor. He's my parents' neighbor. Was that coach? And like, oh, your whole football coach is our neighbor. I was like, oh, coach.
Fuck him.
Fuck that guy.
Fuck that guy. That guy made me quit football.
It was 2003, and they're like, oh, look at the little faggots. Like, that's what they told us. Like,
Jesus.
that was our school at Dewey.
Yeah, I was like small town. I was like, because I graduated in 2002, and yeah, that was that was not cool to say.
Yeah, like
that was not cool to say in any sense.
We were like classy boys don't cry. Like,
yeah, I was like, ew.
Actually, football players don't cry. I don't know. It's like our school wasn't even safe because like fucking you leave the football team and it's like the band director like fondled a girl in an instrument closet.
Oh,
we had the basketball coach that got arrested and went to jail and everything for forcing a girl to do oral sodomy on him.
Wow.
Yeah.
This is just a school full of sexual predators.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it was great.
Good God.
Dewey. And then the principal shot a student with a shotgun at his house. The guy.
Wow. Nothing happened in my town, I guess.
The student was like a former, like he is like 20, and like he like got drunk or so, and like was one street over from his house and got the wrong house, and was like, oh, I'm locked out, so he climbed in through the window, and it was in his whitey tighties apparently, like. And the principal blew him away with a shotgun as a home intruder.
Well,
and then lights on. It's I know that kid.
Shit! Why is this guy not got any clothes on?
So anyway, I didn't see him my senior year.
He took a leave of absence.
The fondest memory I have of him is like graduation when he had this rule of like, don't do anything fucked up with your makeup, or your piercings, or your hair, or I'm not gonna give you your diploma on the stage. And so like that day after school, I had long hair back then. I had long blonde hair. I looked like Chris from fucking Family Guy.
Okay.
So that night, I'm kind of rebellious. If you tell me a rule or something like that's stupid, I kind of have to push on it. I have that. Maybe it's because I'm a comic.
I used to be a little bit more like that as well.
So that day, I shaved my hair into a long blonde mohawk. And so, like, as I walked up there, it's just a blonde mohawk hanging out, and I had my fucking hat off and everything to show it up there. And I reached into and immediately grab his hand, like, like, what's he gonna do? Shoot me?
Yeah.
Fuck. He's already used that card. You can't do that twice.
He's
But,
gonna-
hey, that's a pattern.
Come up there with a bulletproof vest on.
Oh, and then we have our history teacher, which I found out last week is still a member of the fucking faculty that is on BuzzFeed for being like one of the most racist teachers in America.
Oh, is that the
Coach Close? His name's Coach Close. The track coach and history teacher that like went on like Michelle Obama rants, Hillary rants, like just like these most racist fucking like Michelle's a gender fucking fluid, like not a man shit, like
oh dear,
anti-gay shit, like all these like tweets and Facebook posts, and BuzzFeed made a whole article about him.
this is all at your local high school?
Yes, it's Dewey.
Jeez.
Dewey, Oklahoma, guys. You still employ a bigot. Yay! Anyway, I just looked him up. He's still on the faculty, and those tweets are still out there. The BuzzFeed article's still up there. It's public knowledge.
It seems like almost every town has had some kind of a scandal of a teacher or some kind of faculty and a high school kid. And I'm like, I remember in Sand Springs, it was after I got out of school, but one of the female teachers got busted with one of the the male students.
Jesus.
And I was like,
well, like when the coach one happened with the oral sodomy, that was like 2004 or so, and so like that was like dial-up internet days, so we're all like going to the fucking Encyclopedia Britannica, like,
yeah, like what the fuck does that mean?
Sodomy mean? Like SODC oral. Like what? Oh fuck.
Yeah, it's a little different than nowadays.
Like a whole fucking generation's just fucking experiencing what the word sodomy means, and it's not like you're like, and then you're like, oh
dear,
oral, like
god.
Then you're like trying to do the math in your head because you haven't seen that yet. You haven't seen Ask a Mouth or anything yet, so you're like, how did that work? And you're like, your teenage brain's trying to comprehend, like, what position is she in? Like, how did they pull this off at the school? And like, it's so many fucking variables to this that you're like, whoa,
A little high school mind can't compute.
So we're back with the great Kyle Fleming. And Kyle, do you have any guest questions for me?
Yeah. I got some really riveting stuff here, buddy.
Ooh, guest questions.
All right. What was the last film that you watched that you really enjoyed?
Ooh, that I really, really enjoyed.
Or that you hated?
No, we just finished. I'm trying to think of it. I'm watching. My 7-year-old and me are watching like older movies together.
Yeah.
Nacho Libre.
Okay.
Just finished Nacho Libre like 2 nights ago.
That's a funny one.
Mostly because like I told you, like my day job is like I work for the Be Kind Rewind show, and they do table reads, and like they did Nacho Libre a couple weeks ago, and it was in my mind, and I was like, I want to watch that again. I haven't watched that in a long time.
Oh yeah, I haven't seen it.
It's good, dude. It's like the comic timing is hilarious, and plus like. Especially like 2024, you like even the more filter, like the more layer of like they cast this whitest ass Jack Black as this Latino dude, and they tanned him up as good as they put. And they make it like the funniest part, and it's not me being racist saying this. It's just the truth. If you go watch the movie, their best idea for making him look more authentically Mexican was just to put dirt on him. He's just dirty the entire movie. Like, if you look at him, there's just dirt and grime smeared on his face and his chest and stuff, and he's sweaty and dirty the entire movie. And I'm like, really?
Hollywood.
Really?
Jeez.
Really?
What year did that come out?
Like 2008 or something like that, 2009.
Okay, wow.
It was
a minute ago.
It was after Napoleon Dynamite. The same guy that made Napoleon Dynamite.
Okay, all right.
It was his second movie. He made it with Napoleon Dynamite movie.
Oh, okay,
Like,
I didn't realize that was the same guy.
Yeah, because like both of those got picked up by Nickelodeon Films, really.
Oh,
Well,
okay.
yeah, they're actually kids movies technically. Yeah, they were both like MTV and Viacom launched help with Napoleon Dynamite, and then Nickelodeon put out Nacho Libre.
Gosh, Napoleon Dynamite was so huge.
Yeah, it
just
was.
a freaking phenom, dude.
I know, and just like it's so quotable back in the day. It's like that, Anchorman. Some of those like comedies are just like those, just so quotable.
Absolutely. Anchorman. God, man, that I can't watch that movie still and not just crack up through most of it. I loved the first one. I didn't care for the second one too much.
Yeah, Rick, where'd you get a hand grenade? I don't know.
And that was kind of like some of my earliest, like I knew Steve Carell from The Office.
Yeah.
But I hadn't really seen him in any movies. And so that was when he was getting like
Do you remember his intro on that show or on Anchorman? Like what he's doing in the very beginning
with like the mayo.
Yes,
and
yes, the mayonnaise in the toaster. He's just spooning mayonnaise into a toaster, cooking it as he's talking in this monologue, just casually doing it. I'm like, what the fuck, dude?
It makes me laugh every time. It's so absurd and stupid.
So I tell people every time we bring up Anchorman, it's kind of like an Easter egg or like this hidden thing. It's kind of forgotten about. Anchorman had a soundtrack that is fucking amazing.
Really?
Not only was it just 70 songs, great songs,
Yeah.
but if you listen to the album, there's a thing called like online internet database. It's like it's a historical archive for everything on the internet.
Okay.
And it's a free thing. You can just like type it in. It's for things like to be archived so you don't lose them.
Oh, okay.
The Anchorman album's on there. It's the only place to find it. You can't find it on YouTube or anything. The entire album is narrated by Ron Burgundy as he's at a jacuzzi eating a steak dinner. And he intros each song as he's doing that in narration, in story through the whole thing. It's comedy gold. And then
I've never heard it.
There's this one called Shannon. This is it. This is...
I'm not sure if I want to play this next song. It gets me very emotional. Oh, the blazes with it. Just play it, Ronnie. Just play it. Feel better. I know I do. Boy, that song is really powerful. It really is. Happens like that every time. And then when it's done, I'm done. I'm fine. See, I'm back to normal. Don't play it again.
He did one of my all-time favorite comedy albums and just albums in general is my favorite comedian. I have my two favorite comedians are Norm Macdonald and Dave Attell.
Okay.
Norm Macdonald,
both great comedians.
His album, I can't remember what it's called. It's called Ridiculous.
Mm-hmm.
Highly recommend you listen to it. It's an entire audio album, and of course it's CD audio,
right.
But it's basically an audio SNL episode.
Oh,
It's nothing but skits, audio-wise. And it's Norm, Will Ferrell, John Lovitz, Artie Lang, a whole bunch of big-time people during that time era. And they're doing these skits, and they are some of the edgiest stuff you'll ever hear in the 90s.
Nor in his like interviews, like every once in a while he'll allude to being gay, and then he'll be like, "I'm not a homosexual."
I love Norm's. Did you ever watch him on the Conan with Courtney Thorne Smith?
Oh yes, dude,
where he's remember the Carrot Top?
Oh yeah, he's like chairman of the board.
BORE.
That whole interview, Norm is gold and cannot behave himself at all.
Yeah. It's just that wild hair, just like I can't shut up. Like,
I was like, I recognize this. I was like, I get in similar moods.
Yeah. It's just like the absurdity of it. Like you left Melrose Place for fucking a Carrot Top movie. It's just like, really?
Not the best jump for you. And we never saw her again.
Yeah. Well, she did According to Jim with Jim Belushi. Hey,
yeah,
man.
Well, yeah, that's...
but at the same time, that went to syndication, so she probably made some bank.
Yeah, you know what? She's probably doing okay. You know what? She's probably not doing comedy.
Like, if you don't see them anymore, they pretty much banked on the syndication. That's what a lot of people don't know is, like, Home Improvement, fucking Roseanne, all those shows that, like, Drew Carey show.
What do you have to get, like 100 episodes?
I think it's 100 episodes. Once you hit that and hit syndication to where they can do reruns and you're just residual checks, you're just done for life. And that's what Charlie Sheen did with that anger management show.
Oh, really?
Because he was on 2.5 Men, he got fired.
Yeah.
And then Chuck Lorre, the creator of that, created a show for FX called Anger Management.
Right.
And Charlie Sheen only agreed to it if FX would sign off for 100 episodes from the gate.
Oh, wow. That's a big commitment.
And so they did that. It was like a multi-million-dollar year. And it wasn't the greatest show, but it lasted like multiple seasons because it was from the get-go signed for that.
Right.
And it was immediately gone for syndication. So it's still in reruns all the way through the world.
Oh, nice.
Because you also have to think of overseas syndication and stuff like that too.
Right.
Because they get our stuff like 15 years later.
Yeah.
It's like that. It literally is like that scene in Euro Trip where they go to fucking Eastern Europe and the guy's driving that fucking like gremlin that's dressed like the General Lee.
Oh, yeah.
And
is that the... Yeah, like everything is like 70s, 80s, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they go to the fucking like hotel and he pays him with a nickel and he's like, I quit.
Yeah.
I opened my own hotel. It's fucking Eastern Europe. But anyway, war in Ukraine. I don't know.
Bruh. That's how. That's what I said when I woke up this morning.
Warren E. Crane?
Bruh. No.
You're like, today I want to do some Warren E. Crane.
I had breakfast before I said that.
That's next year's Call of Duty.
Yeah.
You ready for question 2?
Yes.
We went on a tangent for that. Again,
Let's see what we
magic
got.
of editing.
All right. Now, do you have a favorite action figure or toy, or a collection of them that is your favorite, or one of your favorites?
Right now, I would say it's not on camera. It's you saw them over there with the gargoyles.
Oh yeah, those are pretty sweet.
That's my new favorite one. NECA, I'll put them in post. Like the NECA series are fucking amazing.
Yeah.
They're just killing it right now on
They
like
make
collectibles.
so much good.
And they're
action
affordable.
figures.
They're
Yeah.
affordable. I have those turtles, the movie turtles, and in my opinion, I'm never gonna buy any more turtles because they're perfect.
Yeah,
those
they're
look like
awesome.
actual movie replicas, and they're that scale. And those were only $25 a piece.
Yeah, I was like, they're really good pricing.
Yeah, and so same with gargoyles. They're $30 each. If they have like the females have like actual like earrings, the metal earrings, and metal jewelry and cloth stuff on them.
Right.
Like the little guy, I had to take him back because he had a broken arm on the box. I'm waiting for another one. Like when he had a crossbow accessory, he actually had individual arrows you could knock in this little bitty crossbow and stuff. And I'm like, it had a little chain to symbolize the thing. I'm like,
It's
think
cool
of that
that
detail.
They have some insane detail.
And it's like $30. And the thing that they're, again, I go through this like marketing wise. I take notes on this stuff because like I even look through. I'm having merch launched for my show and stuff too.
Okay.
Next live show, I'm gonna have T-shirts and stickers and stuff for the show.
Oh, smart.
I look at like costs and production costs stuff like that. You look at these Marvel Legends. They used to be $20. Now they're like $25 a piece, and you get them out of the box. And if you notice, like, look at that Spider-Man up there, the Spider-Man 2-pack.
Yeah.
Do you see any accessories with them? It's just the two figures, right?
Yeah.
It's Spider-Man, that little female Spider-Man up there, or female girl, or Mary Jane.
Okay.
That was like $50,
Ooh.
$60. Whereas a NECA figure is taller. You get like 30 something accessories, and it's $30.
Yeah.
And you can like pose them, and they're so much more detailed. But then you get to like a Power Ranger or a G.I. Joe, and they're made by the same company, and they have way more accessories and way more detail than the Marvel ones. And it's like, they're the same company. Why is it?
Why are we?
It's because Disney's charging them so much for the license. They can't afford to put more stuff in the box.
Oh.
Disney's charging so much for the Star Wars license, the Marvel license, everything. So the Hasbro's basically like, you're going to get a set of alternate hands.
Yeah.
Maybe a sword. That's all we can afford to make a profit on this because Disney's taking like 75% of it.
Damn.
And it's just like when you start factoring into that, I look at that stuff.
Yeah.
And it's like NECA's a smaller company that has smaller licenses. Yes, they have Dark Worlds, which is owned by Disney, but it's smaller production. It's way different licensing.
I have some of the horror NECA ones.
Yeah.
And man, just the detail on them are insane.
My next ones I want to get, I almost picked them up. I'm trying to watch my budget right now. Figures right now are kind of like, I'm marking more on the shows. Do you remember the show Dinosaurs?
Yeah.
They have the dinosaurs that coming out, and it's
Oh,
Daddy,
really?
and they have the baby and his high chair and all the accessories. Those are the first two, is Daddy Earl and the baby.
That's cool.
And they're at Targets and stuff, and they're fucking detailed. They look so real.
They are
And
really cashing in on some nostalgia
Yeah,
the last
man.
few years, man. Like,
Oh.
last decade, really. But yeah, they
yeah.
got some really cool ones. I collected. I used to collect Wolverine stuff.
Yeah.
So
So
any.
you probably saw this.
Yeah. Yeah, I was like, oh, that's sweet.
Yeah. Then I got the movie ones up there.
Yeah. So I've got a bunch of different Wolverine stuff, and then just different random shit, posters,
Yeah.
Trinket bullshit games, whatever. But and then I had like the tiniest little bit of thing stuff, but and then just lots of just random. you know?
That's what stuck out to me. Like, like out of everything you looked over my theater stuff, and you're like, is that a thing? Like, you're one person. I'm like, somebody noticed the thing. Out of everything. I'm like, wow.
Yeah, no.
Did you see the poster for the new movie?
Yeah.
How excited
Yeah,
are you for the casting?
I'm pretty excited.
That dude's gonna be perfect as the thing.
I think so too. I was.
He's great in The Bear. The Bear is
yeah.
a phenomenal show.
Yeah, and he's been just really doing
Doing a
killing
lot
it.
of stuff. He was in Star Wars. He's on an Amazon Prime show, I think. Yeah, Star Wars he's really good in too. He was on what's that one movie or show? It was the one that was like the spy one. Andor.
Oh, okay.
It was really good.
Was it?
Yeah, that's a good show. some of these shows are just spinoffs. You're like they're just cashing in on stuff. But
Yeah,
some shows
no,
are
I
really
get it.
good. Again, it's like open mics or fucking podcasts.
Yeah.
How many of them are just cash grabs or just trying to just not low effort. That Percy Jackson show. Oh my god, that was a chore to get through with my kid.
Really?
Again, I'm not knocking anybody's acting or anything like that. I mean, a lot of times, especially with kid actors, you're struggling too.
Yeah.
But when the best actor on the show is Edge from fucking wrestling, and it's by a landslide. Like, he's playing Ares, the god of war, and he is like
killing
it. Like, there's so much dude, like the acting skills. I'm like, he took some classes. Like, Adam Copeland is working his great ass off on this show. And it's like, yeah, you're just in a fucking green screen room with like 3 kids, and you're not a pedophile. Like, and you're 7 foot tall. It's a little weird.
Yeah.
I mean, but it can't be weirder than wrestling. He's fighting with CGI swords.
Fair enough. Didn't he go to AEW?
Yep.
Okay. I thought he did.
Yeah. Didn't get to see him Wednesday. I get it. The AEW has 2 shows. They have Dynamite and Collision shows.
Okay.
Wednesday and Saturday crews, and they basically have split. Some people work both shows, but most of the time they fly them in once or so for one of the shows, and you're a crew on one of those shows. Separate roster kind of things.
Okay.
AEW, again, I work behind the scenes. I look at behind the scenes stuff. WWE, they would do 5 days a week. You're going house shows. You're flying multiple shows. Raw, SmackDown. They push their talent to the extremes. There's no off season.
Okay.
So like, yeah, you're getting film Monday and Friday, but you're also doing house shows Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday.
Yeah, that's a lot.
It's a lot. And they control your entire image and they own you.
Yeah.
AEW, they have Wednesday or Saturday, and they'll tape like Wednesday when I was there, it'd be okay. They taped their Dynamite show, which is Wednesdays, and their Friday 1-hour show Rampage at the same night. So it's a taping of both.
Okay.
So they tape for 3 hours and they get 2 shows out of it.
Okay.
And so all they do is they fly their talent in for one of those nights a week, either a Wednesday or a Saturday. You work 1 day a week, and then you fly home, and you're welcome to do any independent booking you want as long as you don't get hurt.
Oh, nice.
And like, if you do it, you're gonna make your own money, but you're higher risk.
Right.
But also because you're getting that exposure on TV, you can charge more on your independent bookings because you're an AEW talent.
Oh,
and
yeah,
they help
that's
their
gotta be
wrestlers
a
make that because
huge selling point.
yeah, and they can make their own merch. Like they can do all their own stuff. They're independent.
That's
And then a lot of them work behind
cool.
the scenes as like producer roles or like a talent relations, and that because they're an actual employee, they get healthcare.
Oh, okay. Now that's
big
something
thing.
that they
And so you kind of see these roots. You're like, this is kind of a smart way of doing a business, and they're taking care of their employees and stuff, and taking care of their talent. I'm like, that's a new way of doing a new business. That's a great way.
No, I mean it's pretty innovative.
Yeah,
For
Like-
sure.
I don't
Yeah.
want on a tangent, but yeah, just like I noticed that kind of stuff.
Yeah, no, but yeah, I don't have like much like wrestling stuff. And like I said, most of the figures I have are like, from garage sales,
Yeah.
flea markets and crap like that. Stuff I found cheap,
Yeah.
But my I guess like the stuff that I really enjoy that I collected a lot was I collected like older Thundercats, ones I grew up with.
Yeah.
And then like, Ninja Turtles.
Were you into He-Man?
I wasn't really into
Okay.
He-Man. It was kind of there, and I would watch it here and there, but I didn't play with it a whole lot. It was more, almost all my stuff is just basically recapturing some of my youth.
That's what this is. Because like I know there was a traumatic thing. Like I collected it when I was a kid. And I had lightsaber. I had a replica of like Darth Vader lightsaber and all the Millennium
Okay.
Falcon. I was big into Star Wars back in the day.
Mhm.
Still am. Like I have my Star Wars kitchen in there. But like my parents when I left,
damn, you
and,
do.
yeah, I have you can see the Boba Fett
Yeah.
on top of there and stuff. No, my parents had a house fire when I was like 18, and like all that shit got ruined and lost it. Like my first edition Harry Potter books, all that stuff, all that got ruined. And so I lost all that stuff. So I didn't collect for a long time till like my second marriage. And my wife, we were at a vintage stock and we saw like that Megazord up there. And it's inside the Titanus and stuff, but like the original core Megazord.
Okay.
And she's like, "Didn't that the one you never got as a kid?" And she's like, "I was like, yeah." She goes, "You should buy it. It was like $60." I was like, "Yeah." And that started the obsession and started building all this. Then COVID hit, and I just started collecting and collecting and collecting.
That's it definitely goes. The one that I got that I was like, yeah, Cammy got me. She was like, is this the one that you didn't have? And it was like the Krang's like android body from Turtles.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, I was like, that one's hard to find, like with the door and everything.
Yeah,
so.
nostalgia's powerful, man. Member berries.
Oh yeah, right. I know for sure. So yeah, I've got that like setting up on my shelf.
Maybe
Like,
Chewbacca?
and then like 2 or 3 like Stay Puffs.
Nice.
Yeah.
Oh, I have my Ghostbusters section down here.
Oh, hell yeah.
It's all the way down the wall. I have Ghostbusters, and I have like the DC wall down here.
Yeah.
I'm excited for the new Ghostbusters movie coming out.
Yeah.
The last reboot was really good.
Was it?
The one Paul Rudd. I don't know if you
Oh,
watched it.
yeah.
Afterlife or whatever.
Yeah.
It was in Oklahoma too.
Oh, okay. I didn't know
It's set
that.
in like Oklahoma. Yeah. Oh my god. So maybe this is weird. I'm watching Sopranos for the first time.
Oh, really?
I never watched it.
Oh, man. I loved it when it was, I mean, basically like in its heyday, like 99, 2000.
I'm loving it because like what's his daughter goes to college.
Yeah.
Meadow.
Yeah.
And the girl that's with her roommate is like having withdrawals from her parents and stuff like that. She's from Bartlesville, Oklahoma. And they make fun of her. They're like, don't, she's just a weirdo from Bartlesville, Oklahoma. I'm like, what the fuck, dude?
Never get a fair shake.
Like, it's so specific. Like, not Tulsa. Usually Tulsa.
Right.
It's always Tulsa. To say Bartlesville on The Sopranos is fucking hilarious. And this was 1999? 2000?
Yeah.
Think how low profile Bartlesville was back then.
They had to have just opened up an atlas and pointed.
Because you want to know how low profile it was back then? You remember the movie like in 2003 called Reign of Fire? It was the movie with dragons. Really good movie. I actually love that movie.
I love that movie.
Any movie that has Matthew McConaughey shirtless jumping off a fucking tower with an axe to hit a dragon with an axe, give him all the Oscars.
Hey, there you go.
That movie, his backstory, I always remember it because like, I'm looking for anything to relate to, you know, back in the day. You're as a kid, you're like, oh, and he's like, growing up, we saw him right outside of Coffeyville, Kansas. And I'm like,
hey,
I know there. I know there. And like, he's in Coffeyville, Kansas. And I'm like, yeah.
Dude, I used to love that movie.
It's a great, dude, it still holds up. Christian Bale.
Yeah.
They recreate Star Wars in that movie. Because remember, like, it's post-apocalyptic. So
yeah.
So they have this scene where they have to give the kids theater. They want to show like their little castle. Because remember, they're in a castle, old school castle. They want the kids that are growing up in their lives there to have theater. So they recreate with handmade costumes Star Wars. And they're like having him dressed like Christian Bale dressed up like an Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Oh, I don't even remember
and like they're doing
that.
the Obi-Wan and Darth Vader fight from the first movie.
It's probably been at least 10 or 15 years since I've seen it, but I do remember it being a damn good movie.
I remember the video game for it too. They had a really shitty video game, but
yeah, I was like, that must have just been
It was bad. It was on PS2, but the highlight of it is like you got to play as the humans, which sucked.
Yeah,
and then halfway through, they're like, "Okay, you're done with that campaign. How would you like to play as the dragon?" And you're like,
oh, fuck yeah.
Okay, this is so much better.
Yeah.
And your whole goal is just burning up all the streets, burning the castle, just destroying everything as a dragon in this like 3D world. You're like, this is fucking cool.
Yeah. Kid me is like, hell yeah.
Yeah. Fuck Matthew McConaughey.
Well, all right.
All right. They stay the same age, and I don't feel creepy anymore in 2024. Anyway, question.
That's Jared Ralphie Allen, guys. All right.
Kyle Fleming, question 3.
All right, let's see here. Oh, okay. Favorite fast food joint and favorite thing to get there.
You asked a fat guy favorite fast food joint and what to get there. Oh my god, it can't be multiple choice.
And then if you don't have one,
no, I have lots. I mean, obviously, just look at my fucking Cash App history of what I made. Stop, beat us. I said that on my intro for the Teddy and Bradley episode. I was like, welcome to UnloadingMeat, a show not brought to you by diabetes. Yet.
Loading.
Yeah. Oh, we can go. We're done with our guest questions now. We can go back. Sorry, we're on tangent.
Yeah, they.
And we're back.
Well, my last question was, did you want to arm wrestle before I left?
No.
Oh, well, fine. I was going to kick your ass, man.
Do I get the Nestle Toll House Treehouse if I win?
No, that is mine and my goddamn family's, okay? It's been passed down. God damn it. Just eat your goddamn cookies and be quiet.
So we were talking about it in the last episode, like or a couple episodes by this time. It was Z's episode, the movie Tiptoes. And he had never seen it. I explained to him what that was, and like I'm like, you're not a little person, dude. You're like Gary Oldman's little person. You just look like you're walking around on your knees all the time.
What? Oh God, man, that
movie's
the
so
absurdity of that movie. That they got so many.
Another Matthew McConaughey movie we're talking about. That's gonna be another Matthew McConaughey reference tonight.
They got so many little people to star in that movie, and then put Gary Oldman as the main little person. I was like, that's so offensive.
And Matthew McConaughey as his twin brother.
I was like, yeah, they blend.
And then, do you remember the fucking crucial issue that Kate Beckinsale has and he has? They don't want to fucking have a baby. In case it turns into a midget.
Yeah.
Or little person, even though he's lived his entire life with little people and loves them. And
2 hours later.
It makes no sense. You're bringing your girlfriend back to them to have her embrace the culture. And then you're the one that says, I don't want to conceive with you because I don't like this culture for my kid. What?
It's so offensive. That's so funny.
So anyway, do you use that for porn?
You just see some guy. I'm sorry, we couldn't get an actor. We're just gonna have this guy put shoes on his knees.
Give me the guy that's gonna play Sirius Black.
Yeah.
Give me the guy that's gonna play Jim Gordon.
Yeah. Give me Gordon or give me Churchill.
At best, Tinker Tailor Soldier Spy.
I was like, Gary Oldman is such an amazing actor too. And I was like, ooh, I'd probably leave that one off the resume.
We even talked on the Z episode, like the funniest thing, like Peter Dinklage. I love Peter Dinklage. But like, do you remember him when he joined the MCU, when he was in Avengers?
Yeah.
Where they cast him as like, he was still a dwarf, but he was a 30-foot tall dwarf imp, but he's still like little person proportions. I'm like, how does that work physiologically? Like, what? He's a 30-foot little person?
Too many growth hormones in the meat.
My favorite part of that movie, though, too, I don't have his figure yet. I need to get this box set. I missed out on it. So you remember, like, Avengers, right? You watch Marvel movies. Remember, like, Thanos' like crew, the big guy, the bad guys that he had in the Avengers movies?
Yeah.
And there was that big guy that had like a harpoon thing.
Yeah.
Do you know what his name? They called him like something like Cole Obsidian in the show movies in his credits. Do you know what his name is in the fucking comics? Black Dwarf.
Oh, jeez.
Because it's named after the Black Dwarf star, because they're interstellar like gang kind of thing. That's what the connotation was, like a Black Dwarf star. And then Marvel was going to bring that whole crew to the MCU. They're like, we don't need to have Black Dwarf action figures. Like, just Marvel's Black Dwarf. Did you say Steven Dorff? No, that was Blade.
No. Yeah, Blade.
We don't talk about Blade.
He's doing fake cigarette commercials now. I don't know. Something like Blue or something, Blue Mist or some shit. I was like, oh, money's tight.
Fucking Blade Trinity. I always remember like the CGI eyes. Apparently Wesley Snipes was such a go back and watch. There's a Conan episode where Patton Oswalt's on there, and he talks about how bad of an experience it was making Blade Trinity.
Here's what I'll say about Blade Trinity. If you watch, and by the way, I'm friends with the writer-director, and he agrees with me on this. If you just sit and watch Blade Trinity, it's a D-. It just doesn't work. But if you know what they went through to get that movie made, it is an A+. The fact that movie exists puts it above Citizen Kane. The fact that they, with all the craziness that went down, we were in Vancouver and Wesley Snipes was going crazy and he wouldn't come out of his trailer, and you'd walk by his trailer and this wall of pot stench would just like, whoa, and kind of push you to the side. And then he would only answer to the name Blade. You couldn't call him.
He would only answer to
the Blade, yeah. And after a while, he resorted to just he would communicate with Post-its that he would give to the director, and each one he would sign Blade.
Wesley Snipes hated it being there, did not want to do the movie, and literally every single scene that you see in the movie, if it is not Wesley Snipes point blank, it's his body double. He's in his trailer smoking weed. He did not interact with anybody. Everything was just like, is Wesley gonna be here?
Yeah.
They would get rewrites that day as they're walking to the set, and so, like, it was like a nightmare thing. Nobody knew what. Everybody's walking on eggshells about Wesley's gonna be pissed. And then like there's a scene where like at the end of the movie where he's dead, supposedly Blade dries, and he's on like the coroner's table, and he's supposed to open his eyes. Wesley wouldn't shoot it, so they had to CGI the eyes opening on his dead eyes, and then they used it as an alternate take. They ended up changing the ending of the movie. Like, it's an alternate take, and it's fucking hilarious. Like, he was such a diva on this set.
Like, imagine being such a dick. You're just like, nah, we're going to do a different one. Yeah. I've heard he's miserable to work with, but
although I'll give him a pass because he came back as Blade in What We Do in the Shadows, or as Wesley Snipes.
Oh, he did.
Have you ever watched What We Do in the Shadows?
Yeah.
There's a part where they go to the Vampire Council, and on Skype it's Wesley.
That's pretty.
And he's
funny.
like in glasses. He's like, "What's up, Wes?"
That's pretty funny.
Again, they say the best wrestling personas are the people that take their real life persona and they crank it up to 11.
Yeah, I mean that's kind of what I do. I mean that's what I do with mainly my stand up.
Yeah,
I take my personality and I just amplify it a bit.
Yeah, energy wise, going there. Hey, how's it going? Yeah. And you have, I mean, I'm not knocking, but your voice is very unique.
Distinctive. I remember hi-ho.
Would you like to set the stage for that joke? My favorite joke of I've ever done?
Absolutely. So I'm, we're in a comedy club and I'm coming around the corner, but I'm yelling. Yeah, I'm yelling out, but no one knows who it is. And then they hear me.
And I go, of course I knew it was Kyle, because around the corner I just hear, hi ho.
Son of a bitch. Honestly, that night I was like, come on, man. I was like, that was too good.
Dude, I just have to. It's
no, it's when a softball when it gets lobbed up there, it's hard not to crush it out of the park.
like Zach on the special, like I said all these nice things. He goes, man, I kind of regret that I'm about to roast Jared whenever he said all these nice things for bringing me up. And then he's like, give it up for Swedish Fish House Mafia over here.
Zach comes up with some singers, man.
Dude. My favorite other joke, I like cleverest like wordplay I had. Do you know who what's his name? Tommy York Jr. is?
I don't think so.
He's a comic in the scene. He's been around a little bit. Has long hair, kind of looks like Jesus.
Okay.
Skinny dude, bald beard, and long hair.
Okay, I think I might actually know who you're talking about then.
We roasted an insult attack, and I said he looked like Wayland gentrification.
You're proud of that one, right?
Yeah, like that one was just like,
yeah.
I love that joke. That's my favorite. Oh.
I love when you get like a joke like that other people are like, it's okay, but you're like, no, that's staying in me forever.
Yeah.
That's staying in this bit.
I mean, going back to Norm, we can close around that and go back to this. But like Norm would talk about famously, like I watched the Dark Side of the Comedy special. On him,
yeah.
And they talked about like normally when you shoot a special, they'll shoot multiple nights or shoot multiple tapings. Like you'll do a 7 o'clock show, 9 o'clock show. And when you're recording, like they'll do the best bits or they're clipping together. And like if something didn't work on the earlier show, you would clip it and not do it in the next taping. Norm would do the opposite. If something didn't land and bombed in the first taping, he'd go, fuck that, it's funny. I'm going to double down and make sure to use that emphasis on the next taping. And that would be the one they use.
Oh, okay.
Like he would intentionally.
Norm was so comfortable bombing.
Yeah.
Like it was like he didn't care.
Well, I mean, when they found out years later, like he had leukemia since he started.
Yeah.
Like he started and got his big break like Just for Laughs and stuff like in the like early 90s, late 80s, and like got diagnosed with leukemia back then.
Oh, wow.
And kept it from everybody. His entire SNL run, nobody knew. He only told like 4 people. And he kept all that hidden his entire life. And so he had this mindset of basically like he's already on death's door, like he has nothing to lose. And he's kind of fearless. And it kind of just shaped his entire comedy. Like you could tell him, like when you have that much perspective, it's a different outlook on life.
Oh no, I totally agree with like the.
It kind of puts it all in a new perspective. You kind of see it.
Well, you know, like I've had the transplants.
Yeah.
You know, and was on dialysis, you know, for a while, and so yeah, when you get put in a looking at things in a completely different light, it changes your way of thinking of things and what you find funny and what you care about.
Yeah.
And so I try to go up there and have as much fun as I can.
Yeah, same here, man. Roscoe always coined that I'm not a two-time suicide survivor. I'm a two-time suicide failure. But like, yeah, tried that twice, 2-time divorced, sexual abuse when I was a kid. Like, you know, like I have this trauma bingo card.
Yeah,
check.
I was like, well, that's
I don't even need the free space.
Yeah, I was like, well, that's the comedic checks.
Yeah. Cheating wife and all that stuff. You know, I'm just like, yeah, whore. Bingo. Yahtzee, something. I don't know.
Yeah.
Syphilis.
Hey.
No, but like you have all that, you kind of get this come out the other side of hitting rock bottom and like or something happening like that where you get this perspective like you can only go up from here or you have to do it differently and like near death experiences are like that. It really changes that. Going back to Sopranos, I just got to this episode. Remember the one you've probably seen it years ago where they're trapped in the ice or the snow in New Jersey?
Oh yeah, and they're in the woods.
They're chasing the Russian guy.
Yeah,
and they're about to die, and they're like they're in the van like freezing and stuff, like eating ketchup packets.
Yeah.
And like they kind of come out of it like a different perspective, like it's kind of shaped them, like they're near death, like, and like it completely changes those two like for a little bit. And I'm like,
it's a good show.
It is.
It really is. I've wanted to like go back.
And then the best part about that is I finally understand. Well, I still don't understand, but I finally can have some context of who the fuck Rob Eiler and Jamie Lynn Sigler or whatever. The people that Tom Segura's hired for the podcast.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, who the fuck are these two people? Like,
yeah.
I had no idea. They're like, oh, there's Soprano kids. And I'm like, the Soprano had kids? Like, I don't know. Like, I never watched Sopranos. And they're like, they're only known for like being the Soprano kids.
Yeah.
And now they have a podcast together as just best friends and stuff. And like, I guess he got hardcore into drugs and stuff too.
Oh, okay.
That kid that played Tony Jr.
Yeah. Anthony Jr. Yeah. No, I watched it. Me and my dad used to watch it. Just a little bit before he passed away. That was something that we would watch. My buddy would give me like a bootleg copy, and like I'd go home and we would watch it, and I just remember being like, "This is cool shit."
Do you remember the CGI grandma?
Oh,
Tony's mom.
I remember his mom.
Okay,
like a real bitch. I remember that.
So I watched it again. I watched first time. I had never even known about this. Apparently, the actress that played his mom died in between seasons 2 or 3, and so they killed her off. But they wanted to have one final scene, so they CGI'd her head onto another actress's body, and they used past dialogue to film that scene, like his last scene with his mom. And this was 1999, 2000.
Like,
this is Star Wars: The Phantom Menace. Like this is episode fucking what do you call it? Episode 1. We gotta show it. Okay,
it was like not good.
This is her final scene.
Look who come on.
Well, actually, I'm standing here in front of you. Hey. So
Clever editing, by the way.
What are you out of sight, out of mind.
Brought some books on tape.
It gets bad.
Since you say you can't concentrate to read.
I wish the Lord would take me now.
Well.
Do you notice it? Her face that's not her.
The horse whisperer and Omerta.
What? What's wrong?
What, are you gonna freak out every time I try to do something nice for you? Jesus.
Oh.
Sis.
She's going to finish baby journals from long time ago.
They're just like stock footage of her face. Just like superimposed. It's like early face swaps.
Carmela gave you one of these for each of the kids when they were born. What the fuck? Look at this.
It's just like back of the head.
Supposed to fill these out. 20 years. Fat fucking nothing.
Now look here.
Oh, yeah, that one's real bad, Rare.
Now just stop it. It upsets me.
Carmela's gonna return these books to the kids filled with memories. You can't write stuff down from your life for your grandkids?
It's none of anybody's business.
He's off camera.
You're so sorry for yourself.
She will do it. It's good for her. She realized that. Keep her mind.
So this one, in a second, it's funny.
Yeah.
Do anything if there's not something in it for her. What are you gonna say from now on? I never stated those tickets were stolen, capiche?
It's so
it's like, man, it's uncomfortable.
I should have just kept my mouth shut. Like I'm.
Any kind of deal they try to make, you keep your mouth shut.
I can't believe you never noticed this.
I was like, babe, maybe decent for 99, but it's the same fucking thing.
It's so funny.
No, I never noticed that back in the day.
Like, I'm watching this. I have no idea what's going on in the show. I've never watched it before. I don't want any spoilers, nothing. Like, I didn't even know this. I just knew it was about Tony Soprano. I had no idea he had a fucking therapist or anything. I didn't know any of that. So I'm going
that's a great way to walk into it.
I'm going completely fresh. But after each episode, I have questions, and I'm like, just like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
So I go to like Reddit or something like that, and I'm just like, what was up with that bitch's face? Like, I was just like, what is up with the grandma? And then I find the story, and she died. And then there's even like a Corridor Crew video of like them analyzing and making fun of it. Like, it's bad. And it's just like, ugh. But like you can see, like they did a lot of clever edits to hide like the back of the head, and, like off camera.
Not
like,
bad.
Yeah, they even had like the fucking like house lady, Russian lady, like being in there as a third person he could talk to most of the time. And like they had it for just a few scenes, but those few scenes.
You just put that on a GIF. Just like
her O face.
Yeah.
Her neck looked like her pussy.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for coming, dude. This has been awesome.
Yeah, dude. Really cool place, dude.
Yeah, man. It's also been just nice to really, chat. I feel like we kind of bond and everything.
Yeah,
like, you're a great guy.
I appreciate that,
genuine
man.
talent. Where can everybody find and book the great Kyle Fleming?
Well, I'm on Facebook. I'm not super. I'm trying to get a little bit more active on social media. Obviously, I'm on Facebook at Kyle Fleming, and then on Instagram at Kyle Fleming Comedy.
Nice. Yeah. Well, thank you so much for coming on, man. It's been
Hey,
a pleasure.
thanks, man. I appreciate you having me.
And I'll see you at the next mics, and hopefully you have a good riff show this Saturday.
Hey, thanks, man.
Guys, this has been Unloading Meat. I'm Jared Ralphie Allen. This is Kyle Fleming. Peace.
Unloading the meat. 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 I don't even know what it means, what it is, what it is, what it is.
Bye. Have a great time.